The Planet of the Apes franchise is back with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Is it a worthy successor to the very, very popular trilogy? Let's talk about it. Hi, my name's Stu and welcome to another review video on Flying Wiener. I just very recently watched the recent remake trilogy, whatever you want to call it, of the Planet of the Apes myself. I actually did a video on it, a review video for the trilogy. I'll leave a link to that at the end of this video if you're interested. Unfortunately, I didn't see it in cinemas. It just wasn't too big on the franchise, but obviously heard a lot of good things about it. Watched it at home. It was available for me on Disney+. Loved it from start to finish. I thought it was really good. Still can't get over how amazing the apes themselves look, the digital effects, but obviously you have this great story surrounding Caesar, you know, the main protagonist, played wonderfully by Andy Serkis. Obviously a lot of other people in the film that made it great, acting performances, characters, etc. But yeah, I was immediately drawn in and said in that video that, well, yeah, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is coming up, so maybe this will be the first time I see one in cinemas. And that is actually the case. Now, just as I said that, I remember that what was it, around the year 2000 or so, there was a sort of remake with, was it Mark Wahlberg? I'm not quite sure. I think I saw that in cinemas, but I really can't remember. Anyway, never mind. I have seen Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and in short, if you're interested, because I mean, obviously this was a very risky project, like I say, much beloved trilogy. Not only that, you've got other people making it from start to finish, you know, writers, director, everything. And you don't have Caesar, you don't have the main protagonist, because spoiler, he dies at the end. Not only that, but here this is set 300 years after that story, after that trilogy. So he's not available. So all in all, sounds like a very risky project. I'm happy to preface this review by saying they definitely pulled it off. It's absolutely a worthy entry in this new, well, series of films. I was going to say trilogy, but no, but actually I just read that they are planning a trilogy out of these films, which, okay, why does everything need to be a trilogy nowadays? I don't know. But let's just put it that way, it's off to a good start. Now, what is this film about? I mean, I've already sort of mentioned a few bits and pieces, so this is not immediately set after the War of the Planet of the Apes. Like I say, 300 years later, so Caesar is no more. And all those apes that we knew in those films, they are all no more. This is 300 years later. We are focused on a sort of nomadic tribe of apes. It seems that they've all assembled themselves in sort of tribes. We are focused on one that is actually they actually keep eagles, so they train eagles to hunt for them and other things. It's quite interesting to see that aspect, you know, what would their society be like, and in this case, you know, working with other animals, sort of a nice symbiosis, if you like. We are focused on one ape in particular. His name is Noah. He's played by Owen Teague. He is I don't know, he's supposed to be a teenager, kind of, let's say, young adult, whatever. And just to keep it rather brief, his tribe is attacked by another one. We hear about this mysterious figure, this leader figure called Proximus Caesar. Caesar obviously being a name like, okay, wait a second, there's some connection there. And his whole tribe is basically been kidnapped. They're taken to Proximus Caesar, and we watch Noah trying to get them back. That is the basic gist of the story, right? So yeah, trying to reclaim his tribe, get it back and get it away from this Proximus Caesar. That is the most basic plot. As you can imagine, on his way there, he meets a few other people. Well, yeah, people, because we've got all sorts of beings that I would describe as people. We have got an orangutan. His name is Raka. He's played by Peter Macon. He's got an interesting role. He's sort of like, it shows you a sort of religious aspect, as you can imagine, that with a figure like Caesar, who led the first apes, you know, and was such an inspirational figure, trying to always, you know, make morally good decisions, etc. That developed into sort of religion, and Raka is a representative of this. I like the keepers of the ancient knowledge surrounding Caesar and stuff. Because we also see another aspect. I mentioned Proximus Caesar. He's a leader. He describes himself as a king. That's where the kingdom comes from. So that's where the tribe was taken, to his kingdom. and he is sort of twisting the original meaning and, let's call them, teachings of Caesar. And this is an interesting thing, you know, legacy. You know, that's one of the things that this film deals with. How much influence have you got on how people will remember you? And even if you've got a generally good legacy, let's call it, people will still probably try and twist it in some way if they want to. So that is an interesting back and forth. We've got another character that pops up. We have got humans here. The main human we are interacting with, her name is May. She is played by Freya Allen, who you might know from the Witcher series from Netflix. And she is helping Noah trying to get his tribe back, because there's some, I won't spoil it, but she has got her own involvement in this situation, I'll call it. So she's got her own motives, etc., but she helps Noah trying to get his people back. Yeah, that is the most basic gist of it I can give you. This Proxima Caesar, by the way, I've mentioned him a few times now. He's played by Kevin Durand. And all of them, I must say, give really great performances. So that's all I'll tell you about the plot. Let's move to that. You know, as usual, you'll have to find out what exactly happens in the story. But yes, so we've got this young ape trying with a few newfound friends to find his tribe and bring them back home, right? And get them out of the grasp of this Proxima Caesar. Now the characters are really wonderful, and the whole acting is wonderful. That is a mainstay in this franchise, so if you loved that in the previous films, I'm very happy to say you'll like it here as well. We've got so many really incredible performances from people in motion capture suits and stuff like that, but you feel so immersed. You don't ever really feel taken out of the situation. You know, you really feel for these apes and the situations that they've got. One thing I really appreciate is, while they do talk, you know, they've got the normal speech, their vocabulary is a bit simplistic, or at least simpler than we have, and it really sort of made me aware that, I mean, I love, you know, wordy dialogues and really highbrow speeches and films and whatnot, all these kind of things. But it shows you that it's really more important about what you're saying, I mean, in the sense of the essence of what you're saying, than how many words you use to say something. Because you don't feel bored. It's not like, okay, you know, this isn't really, you know, testing my brain power or anything like that. It's really great how little they do, how much they do with little dialogue. It's not like there's not a lot of dialogue. There is a lot of dialogue, but I'm saying it's intentionally a bit limited and a bit simpler, but it still says so much. The characters, when they talk to each other, you can really see the sort of what the gears in their brains and how they're thinking about things, and it just, I don't know, they've just done a great job with the script to really make you feel for these characters. That's one thing that I really noticed. And like I say, the chemistry is good between them, all of them. Even you've got this Proxima Caesar, you can tell why people like him, because while you can tell he's not quite right, you know, there's something off about him. He seems very enticing, you know, being able to draw people in and get them to do what he wants them to do. That's great. And obviously all of this is only possible with the visual effects. Now I really hope that this, just like the last ones, will be a success. Obviously it's an expensive film, around $160 million. It needs to be successful. And all I can say is you can see those effects on the screen, because if the first trilogy already had apes that looked amazing, now, I mean, this is now, 7 years after the last Apes film, they look absolutely phenomenal. You forget that you're looking at, at a film. I'm like, I don't know how they do it. I really don't know how they do it. It's among the best effects I have ever seen. The skin, the hair, the motions on the face, the wrinkles, everything is absolutely perfect. It's really, it makes you just empathize with these characters so much, because they just look amazing. There's cool action in here. There's maybe not as much as you're expecting. That's one of the things that I'm worried about, because people might not really go to see it because, like, oh, there's it's more about the characters and these kind of things, which I love. I love the whole thing. If you go in because you're expecting a huge action blockbuster, you might be a bit disappointed. While there are action scenes and they're really cool, and again, effects, everything done really well, it might not be as much as you would hope there is in here. But there is, I mean, the film's what, like 2 hours and 20 minutes? There are enough action scenes spread throughout the whole film, and there's definitely a lot of exciting, thrilling scenes, suspense, everything. You've got all sorts of emotions going on in this film. all done wonderfully. So while there's a new director, Wes Ball, you know, again, people were like, oh, you know, is this going to work? Matt Reeves is no longer doing it. I mean, we can't really fault him for that and be angry at him. He's giving us the Batman and more in that universe, and obviously that's great. But Wes Ball absolutely did a great job. He really put this together so wonderfully, was involved in the script. This really is a worthy successor to that trilogy, and we'll see what the future holds. Like I say, I hope it's successful enough, because I definitely want to see more of this world. So they've managed with these now 4 films to really make me a fan of the franchise, which is something I really didn't care about for the last 20 or so years since it's been on my radar. Yeah? That'll be all from me today. If you enjoyed this review video, please like, share and subscribe. This is the best way to support this channel, and YouTube keeps telling me, you know, that's what people need to do to get your channel to grow. So that's why I'm asking. Sorry if you find it annoying. If you want to say anything about this film, comparisons to the other films, anything about the whole franchise, you know, going back decades, etc., you can put all of that down in the comments below. I'll thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one on Flying Wiener. Take care.